Hey folks, welcome to Shooting Up North. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin. We're heard right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching for the first time, please consider hitting that subscribe button. If you want to follow me on social media, I'm on Twitter at Shooting Up North, Instagram at Alliance PW Network, and feel free to join our Facebook group, the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. Oh, right. So this is Shooting Up North's Impact Wrestling review for September 8th, 2022. Let's get into the review. So the show starts this week, as it always starts, with a recap of the prior week. Then we get into the first match, which is a huge faction match. United Empire versus Bullet Club. So we had Aussie Open, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis making their Impact Wrestling debut. The New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Tag Team Champions taking on Bullet Club's Ace Austin and Chris Bay. So this was actually a really good match. I was expecting a really good match, and I wasn't disappointed. Let's get into some of the action that took place during the match. Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis, they went on the attack right away. They hit actually a nice slingshot uppercut on Bay. Bay on the outside of the ring. Kyle Fletcher slingshots him in. Mark Davis hits him with a nice uppercut as Bay's on the way down. Ace Austin at one point takes out both Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis when they're on the outside. It's followed by a big dive to the outside by Chris Bay. As the match progresses, Ace Austin finds himself in trouble as Davis and Fletcher control. Austin eventually makes a hot tag, and Bay comes in and is a house of fire. Ace Austin actually big dive to Davis on the outside again. Bay with a frog splash for two on Fletcher. And the ending of the match had a lot of great action, a lot of great back and forth action. This one, the ending of the match occurred. Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher, they have control of Chris Bay's arms. Each one are holding her arm, and they rain forearms on Chris Bay, and then they hit their finish, the Coriolis is I believe what it's called. It's like a double Death Valley driver. They hit that on Chris Bay for the victory. As I said, I was expecting a great match, and they did not disappoint. I thought this was an excellent match. It was such a breath of fresh air to see a new top team in Impact Wrestling in the form of Aussie Open. They work well together, and I see why they are a highly regarded team in the world of professional wrestling. I see why they hold the New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Tag Team titles. They needed a big win to kick off their run in Impact Wrestling. They did indicate last week that they're here to win the Impact Wrestling World Tag Team titles. So I'm expecting them to be around for a bit. That's not confirmed, but I have a feeling they're going to be around for a bit. They needed a big win, as I said, to kick off their run in Impact Wrestling and establish themselves as a top team, and that's exactly what they did. Getting a win against an excellent team of Chris Bay and Ace Austin Bullet Club members did just that for them. I thought it was a great debut by Aussie Open. Glad we got to see United Empire versus Bullet Club, and hopefully this will lead to more United Empire Bullet Club matches in Impact Wrestling. Get a United Empire Bullet Club feud. Maybe Jay White comes back. Maybe other members of Bullet Club comes back. Maybe we'll see Will Ospreay joining his United Empire pals in faction members in Impact Wrestling, and we'll see where it goes. But I know they have another match coming up, which is not against Bullet Club. In case that people don't know who the opponents are, I'm not going to give it away, but it's not Bullet Club members. But again, great debut in my opinion by Aussie Open. Great tag team. Looking forward to seeing a lot more of them in Impact Wrestling. Next segment was an Honor No More backstage segment. Kenny King says that he wants the X Division title. Felt he was cheated out of it. Eddie Edwards says that he will take care of Heath and will show Josh Alexander that he should join Honor No More. The whole let's get Josh to join Honor No More. I think we could do without. We could do without it. We could do without because Eddie Edwards, Josh Alexander, they have a big match coming up. They're supposed to be rivals, but Eddie Edwards wants Josh Alexander to join Honor No More. So I don't know. I'd rather have them just going at each other, build up. Just concentrate on building up the big Bound for Glory match that's coming up in October. So I'm not really a fan of let's get Josh to join Honor No More. Just not wasn't really a fan of that, but nonetheless, Eddie Edwards saying that he's going to convince Josh Alexander that he should join. I don't know more. Then we have the Good Brothers, another segment, interview segment with the Good Brothers, and they want the titles back, but we know that's not going to happen because it's they're no longer in Impact Wrestling. So, but they want the titles back, and they said they aren't done with Honor No More. Quite frankly, they're done with Honor No More. Not sure why they put this up. I mean, unless they're coming back on a pay per appearance, unless they're coming back on a pay per appearance basis. But as of right now, they're no longer with Impact Wrestling. But they're saying they aren't done with Honor No More. Then the Motor City Machine Guns appear, and they make a challenge, and which is accepted. So next week we have the Good Brothers against Alex Shelley, Chris Sabin, the Motor City Machine Guns. So that should be an interesting match. But we all know who's gonna take the loss on the way out. No spoiler needed there. But next week, Motor City Machine Guns against the Good Brothers. Should be a unless the Good Brothers mail it in. It should be a decent match. Should be a decent match. Match number two, the Mickey James, Mickey James versus Rachel Road. Mickey James, as we know, she's on her now quest to win the Impact Wrestling Knockouts title one more time. But if she loses along the way, she's starting from the bottom, working her way up. And if she loses along the way, then she's going to retire. So this week, the first match in that quest to become the Impact Wrestling Knockouts champion one more time. The last rodeo, I guess, what she called it, the Mickey James versus Rachel Rose. I'm sorry. So they shake hands to start. Rose gets in some offense, but this is we all know that Rachel Rose is not going to end Mickey James. That would have been hilarious though if like Rachel Rose wrapped up Mickey James in a small package and got the quick three, and then the rodeo is over. The rodeo ends for Mickey James, but that, of course, we know that wasn't going to happen. So, but Rose did get some offense in. Hannafin and Ray Walto pushing it hard that this could be James' last match. But any sane or smart or intelligent or even non-intelligent wrestling fan knows that this was not going to be Mickey James' last match. And we were all right because Mickey James actually won the match with her Mick DDT on Rachel Rose against the win. It was like a 3-minute match. It was almost a squash match, but I don't want to call it a squash match because Rose got in some offense. Actually, the crowd was chanting for Rose also, so she must be from Texas. I'm not really familiar. I've heard the name. I've seen her before, but I'm not sure. Maybe she's from Texas. But they were actually chanting her name a little bit during the match, which was a little weird of meaning that they're rooting for Rose to beat Mickey James. This could have been Mickey James' last match. I guess some people in attendance wanted Rachel Rose to be the one to beat Mickey James, but nonetheless, Mickey James that wasn't going to happen, of course. So Mickey James wins with the Mick DT as I mentioned. We all knew James was going to win, but this win. Start over. I just little cough there. So we all know James is going to win, but this is going to be the storyline has really, really great potential. Has really great potential. It could be a fun ride. It could be fun. I think it's going to be a long storyline, and Impact Wrestling has the opportunity to do something really special here with this Mickey James storyline. They need to really promote it and push it. And I feel the fans are really going to get behind it in this one, except this match where some fans were rooting for Rachel Rose. But I think the fans are going to get behind it. But the Impact Wrestling needs to promote it and push it right. As it could be, like I said, a really, really fun, really fun storyline. I think it's going to last for a while. I don't. It's not going to end at Bound for Glory, of course. I think it's going to go way beyond Bound for Glory. But I say let's buckle in and get ready for a fun, exciting ride here. Fun, exciting storyline from Mickey James. Next up, Kenny King breaks up a chat with between Mia Yim and Scott Demore. They're talking in the back. King and Yim insult each other at one point. King wants another X Division title shot. Demore says that he has an announcement for next week concerning the X Division. But this week he makes Kenny King versus the debuting Yuya Uemura. So we get King versus Yuya Uemura, and as Scott Demore says, that match is next. So that match is coming up next. So Steve Macklin actually during an interview, Steve Macklin's segment said that there was no alliance with Moose, and he's going to basically prove it. So match 3, Kenny King versus the debuting Yuya Uemura. I was very excited for the debut of Yuya Uemura. Big fan of Yuya Uemura. It's going to be an absolute megastar for New Japan Pro Wrestling. And I was been calling for this debut for quite some time, and very excited to see Yuya Uemura in an Impact Wrestling ring. So Yuya Uemura is in the ring, and the crowd already starts chanting his name, Yuya, Yuya, and it's well deserved because, like I said, he's going to be an absolute megastar for New Japan Pro Wrestling. So some of the action that took place in this match, King actually takes down Yuya early and slaps him in the head a few times. Yuya comes back with a headlock and the shoulder tackle. Uemura hits a forearm and a few elbow drops or 2. Kenny King regains control, a kick to the head, gets a 2 count on Uemura. Great drop kick by Yuya. Forearm, then bulldog for 2. Spine buster by Kenny King for 2. Then a tiger driver for 2 as well, as Kenny King starts to take some control of the match. But the ending of the match occurred. Mei Yim actually, I guess she's still upset that she was interrupted in the back by Kenny King. So she comes to the ring and argues with Kenny King. Kenny King at one point tries to cheat to win. Has his feet on the ropes trying to pin Yuya Uemura, but Mia Yim prevents it, pushes his feet off the ropes. Kenny King not happy. He grabs Mia Yim, but Mia Yim gets out of it and then kicks King in the head. Uemura hits a crossbody from the top rope onto Kenny King for the victory. So Yuya Uemura gets a win in his debut. So 2 big debuts this week. Aussie Open getting a win, Yuya Uemura getting the win. I thought this was a very good debut for Uemura. The match with Kenny King, he was able to showcase his potential. We saw some decent moves, some of his skill set here against Kenny King. One thing I did not like, the Mia Yim involvement. I think you should have won clean with no controversy at all, no one interfering in the match. Especially this is debut, like Aussie Open win clean. They won clean to show that they're a top tag team right away. I think Yuya Uemura should have won clean here over Kenny King. I don't know if I necessarily would have made Kenny King his first opponent, but I do hope we see a lot more of Yuya. As for Yim, is Yuya and Yim going to team? Uemura and Mia Yim going to be a team? I don't know if that's the direction they're heading in, but I kind of wish Mia Yim didn't interfere. Is Kenny King going to feud with Mia Yim now? Well, what's going on? Where is this going? It's a little confusing as to where this might be going. Is Yim going to bring somebody in to help her feud with Kenny? I don't know. Or like I said, is Uemura and Mia Yim going to be a team? Are we going to see a segment with them next week? I don't know, but like I said, I kind of wish they kind of left Mia Yim out of it. And I don't know, Kenny King's a great opponent, but for Uemura, but Kenny King asking for another X Division title shot. He got a win. He even though he cheated, he did get technically you could say that he did pin Speedball Mike Bailey last week, and they could have turn that into something where he wants another X Division title shot. He got the victory. The referee counted 3. He got the win over Speedball Mike Bailey, and he wants another shot. But now him losing to Yuya Uemura. And that's another thing. Last week he cheated to win to defeat Speedball Mike Bailey. Of course, the was overturned and Speedball Mike Bailey eventually won that match. But you can see him cheating here, making him coming out and breaking that up. Maybe that's another reason, Kenny King cheating to win and Mia Yim has had enough of it and broke it up. So you could use that argument as to why we saw Mia Yim. But But Kenny King wanting another title shot. Now, suddenly, with the loss of Uemura, he really can't ask for another title shot because if anyone's going to deserve one, it's going to be Uemura for getting the victory over Kenny King. So Kenny King, in my eyes, no longer deserves an Impact Wrestling X Division title match because of this loss here. That's why they really can't run with the Kenny King wants another X Division title shot storyline anymore because he lost the match here. I personally would have put Yuya Uemura against Aiden Prince. That's what I would have done. I would have had Yuya Uemura versus Aiden Prince. I think that would have been an absolutely fantastic match. No interference, and I would have put Yuya over Aiden Prince. But that's the match that I would have done. That's the match that's the debut I would have done for Yuya Uemura versus Aiden Prince. But I'm not calling the shots. But nonetheless, I hope we see a lot more of Yuya Uemura. I know Uemura is now on the Impact Wrestling roster page. Aussie Open isn't. I checked, but Aussie Open is not on the Impact Wrestling roster page, but Yuya Uemura is, and he is in excursion right now in the U.S. So he's not going to be going back to Japan anytime soon, at least for another year. So maybe we're going to see a lot more of Yuya Uemura in Impact Wrestling. Then we get the flashback of the week: Bobby Roode versus Sting. Bobby Roode defeats Sting. I forgot what show it was or what year it was from. I just wrote flashback of the week: Bobby Roode versus Sting. And then we get a Sami Callihan segment as he seems ready for he seems ready for Victory Road. Gives a great promo, and Sami Callihan always delivers on his promos. And they're always intense, and they're always enjoyable to watch. So I enjoy just Sami Callihan knows how to cut a promo. Next is a Cody Deaner and Eric Young segment, which was filmed outside at night on location. Deaner claims that he still believes in violence. Actually, Eric Young, it looks like he's in his house, and Deaner calls Eric Young, and Eric Young comes out. Deaner claims that he still believes in violence. Young has him repeated over and over again, and a group of men with yellow hoodies join in on the chant. We get an aerial shot of them with chanting violence, violence, violence. And the leader, Eric Young, with his arms wide open, accepting everybody into I guess Violent by Design. I don't know if we're going to see more members of Violent by Design, but I love the way this was done. Violent by Design segments are just fantastic. It was filmed wonderfully. The all the everyone in the yellow hoodies that came out, that were yelling violence, violence. Great stuff. Eric Young with his arms wide open, wide open. And we get the aerial shot of it. Was just really well done, well produced. I love this segment, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the future holds for Violent by Design. Are we going to get another member of Violent by Design? Joe Doring, of course, getting cancer, brain cancer surgery, and we do wish him the best. So we do hope for speedy recovery. If anyone's going to beat this, it's going to be Joe Doring. But are we going to get another member of Violent by Design? We'll see. We'll see where it goes. But great segment. Love the segment here. So the fourth match number 4, Taya Valkyrie versus one half of the Knockouts Tag Team Champions, Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green accompanied to the ring by Deonna Purrazzo. Taya has Rosemary and Jessica accompany her to the ring. This match was okay. We all knew what was going to happen here. We all knew Jessica was eventually going to get involved somehow and cost Taya the match. Like I said, as I said before, any intelligent wrestling fan could see it coming from a mile away, as did I. So some of the action that took place during the match: a crossbody early by Taya for 2, double knees by Taya in the corner. She gets a 2 count, green kick to the head, pulls Taya to the outside, and then pushes her back into the ring for a 2 count. Green drives Taya's head into the turnbuckle with her foot. She puts her foot on the back of Taya's head and pushes her head into the turnbuckle. I just accidentally kicked my garbage can. Don't know if you heard it. I hope I didn't knock it down. I'm not going to look. I'll look after. I'll look afterwards. I'll probably have to clean up a mess. But the ending comes where the ending came, of course, and we all saw this coming. Purrazzo interferes in the match. Rosemary takes exception and takes out Deonna Purrazzo. Jessica jumps onto the ring apron. What a surprise! Jessica jumps onto the ring apron. Taya gets pushed into Jessica. Jessica falls off. Did not see that coming. Chelsea hits the unprettier on Taya Valkyrie for the win. So Jessica costs Taya Valkyrie the victory, and the dissension between Taya Valkyrie, Rosemary, and Jessica continues. You know, we didn't. This wasn't supposed to happen. Nobody saw this one coming. Nobody saw this coming. So the overall match I thought was okay, nothing special. The whole purpose was to further the dissension storyline between Taya, Rosemary, and Jessica. As I said, you knew that ending was going to happen. You saw it from a mile away, and you knew Jessica was going to cost Taya the match, and that's what happened. I'm not, I know people like the Jessica thing. I know BQ is a fan of it. BQ of the Impact Lounge. I just see it as her trying to copy the success that Su Young had with Susie. Not a fan of it. Not a fan. Not sure where it's going. They're eventually going to break up, of course, because Jessica always interfering somehow and always costing her either Ty or Rosemary the match. So I just not a fan of the whole Jessica thing. Havoc looks like she's having a blast doing it, and by all means, I hope she's having fun. It's just not my cup of tea. That's all. Like I said, I just see it as a trying to recreate or copy the success that Su Young had with Susie. And I hope we see Su Young back soon. She's still on the roster page, so I'm sure we'll see Su Young back soon. But I can do without the whole Jessica thing. All right, so let's move on. So then we get a Jordan Grace segment. She's interviewed by Gia Miller, and Grace says she's not underestimating Masha Slamovich. Then after the interview, she goes into her dressing room, only to find that Masha is going to kill you is projected on the wall, and she looks at it. So the build up to this Bound for Glory match is going to be a fun ride. It's going to be a fun ride. I know we have a Pick Your Poison match coming up at Victory Road. Masha Slamovich picking an opponent for Jordan Grace. I hope it's LuFisto. Some people say it's going to be Max the Impaler. So we'll see who it is, but it's going to be a fun ride. Masha Slamovich trying to get into Jordan Grace's head again with the Masha is going to kill you projected onto her wall. I said it's going to be a fun ride, man. Let's get ready. This is going to be a great match at Bound for Glory. Grace against Masha Slamovich. Can't wait for it. But the ride to get there is going to be, I think, just as fun. So then we got a Vincent and PCO segment. Vincent said that they both belong to Honor No More. There's a whole thing is like I guess he's sending electric shocks through his brain because PCO looks like he's getting shocked over and over again while Vincent is talking. If we're gonna turn PCO, if PCO is gonna leave Honor No More, can we just do it already? I mean, the storyline's been going on for how long now? If we're gonna do it, let's just do it. If we're not gonna do it, let's not do it. Then that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say on that. If you're gonna turn him, if he's gonna get kicked out of Honor No More, let's kick him out. If he's not gonna get kicked out, let's have some closure to the storyline already. Let's have some closure to the storyline already. Okay, thank you. So match 5, Brian Myers versus Bhupinder Gujjar. Bhupinder Gujjar, sorry, not Gujjar, Gujjar, sorry. It's a digital media title match. Gujjar starts with forearms early and controls the match. Gujjar hits a splash in the corner, kick to the head for 2 on Myers, suplex by Gujjar as he controls the action. Myers drives Gujjar's head into the ring post. Gujjar hits a sling blade on Myers. Gujjar also hits a Samoan drop for 2. Super kick by Gujjar for 2. Myers, I said Gujjar again. Gujjar, I'm sorry, it's Gujjar. Myers hits an implant DDT on Gujjar for 2 as well. So we had a lot of really good action going on in this one. So the ending comes Gujjar is DQ'd for hitting Myers with the digital media title. Gujjar once again walks off with the title belt. So this match was good. Actually, I'm kind of getting into this feud. And I'm glad to see that that Impact is using the digital media title to try and elevate lower and mid card talent such as Gujjar. They're obviously high in Gujjar as he showcased a lot of his skills in this match. For much of the match, he showcased a lot of his skills, a lot of his skill set during this one. So it appears that Impact Wrestling is high on pushing Gujjar. I didn't like him though, walking over the title and holding it up high and letting out a scream as if he just won the title. He's at the top of the ramp, he holds it up, and he lets out a scream like he's a new digital media champion. Didn't like that part. I didn't like that because it's not the new digital media champion. Um, the ladder match is coming up, and it should be a great ending to this feud. So I'm kind of into this feud right now. I heard the ladder match is going to be it was something special, so I'm looking forward to it. But I do like that they're using the digital media title to push lower and mid card talent. So when this is over, the feud is over, I don't expect Gujar to win the digital media title. Um, but I think after this, I think Aiden Prince should be inserted as the next talent to go after the digital media title again to elevate the lower and mid card talent. So as you can see, I'm high on Aiden Prince. The second time I've mentioned Aiden Prince during this review, and it's I'm sorry, it's like 6 in the morning, so sorry about the throw, guys. I woke up like a half hour ago, and I have to get this done. So, but as you know, I'm high on in prison. They mentioned him twice already. So we find out next week it's going to be Moose and Steve Macklin versus Decay. Speedball Mike Bailey defends the X Division title against the new number one contender Mascara Dorada, and the Good Brothers take on the Motor City Machine Guns in a tag team dream match. So backstage, we have Gujar and Brian Myers, they both have a hold of the title and they're pulling it back and forth. Myers wants his title back. Gujar, I guess, thinks it's his. He doesn't want to give it back. Scott D'Amore, of course, comes and saves the day, still wearing the headset. So he takes the digital media title away from Gujar. Then he makes that digital media ladder match in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, we have the digital media title is on the line in a ladder match as Brian Myers defends against Gujar. But Scott D'Amore said he's going to hold on to the title. But I don't know why. There's no controversy. There was no controversy here, as there was the first time where Gujar he defeated Myers, even though it wasn't an official match. So there's no controversy here. So why does Scott D'Amore have to hold on to the title? So he's going to hold the title and hang it up in the rafters in 2 weeks. The title belongs back with Brian Myers. Brian Myers didn't lose the title. Gujar was disqualified, so he lost the match. So the title's got to go back to Brian Myers. Scott D'Amore says he's going to hold on to the belt. At least he gave it back to him, and I just missed it. But the belt belongs to Brian Myers. Scott D'Amore should be holding it for 2 weeks. So match 6, the main event, Eddie Edwards versus Heath. I wasn't too excited about this one. Not huge, not a huge Heath fan, but nonetheless, let's get into some of the action. Edwards attacks Heath right away. Heath hits a flying forearm in the corner. Eddie Edwards has Heath in the corner. He hits a corner chop as well. The Eddie sucks chant begins. Heath clotheslines Eddie to the outside. Heath sends Eddie into the steel steps. Eddie is just favoring his arm. Edwards regains control of the match. He clotheslines Heath, who's in the corner. Heath comes back, hits a DDT for 2. Heath hits a wake-up call on Eddie, his finishing move, of course. But Mike Bennett comes running to the ring and gets involved in the match, but Heath hits a wake-up call on Mike Bennett. Eddie Edwards hits a low blow on Heath, hits a Boston knee party, and gets the win over Heath. The match was about 14 minutes long, I believe. Lots of back and forth action in between. I just went over some of the moves that happened, but lots of back and forth action going on in this one. Eddie Edwards calls out Josh Alexander to come and give him an answer if he's going to join on no more. Josh comes to the ring. Eddie and Josh go at it verbally. Josh, of course, what a surprise here, everybody. Josh turns down Eddie Edwards. Then a brawl erupts. We got Josh Alexander. The odds are stacked against Josh Alexander, but Heath jumps in to help Josh. And then eventually Rich Swann comes down. So we have a massive brawl between Josh, Heath, Rich Swann against Honor No More. Honor No More take out Heath and Rich Swann, and the numbers are too much just for the 3 of them. Honor No More, of course, like I said, they win the brawl. They all start attacking Josh Alexander. Edwards powerbombs Josh Alexander and hits a Boston Knee Party on Josh Alexander to close the show. Actually, standing over him with the title and yelling at him for verbally, and that's how the show basically ended. So the Eddie Edwards Heath match itself was good, but I think it went on way too long. I don't think it should have gone on for 13, maybe like 12, 13 minutes. I think Heath got in too much offense and too many near falls. I mean, heading into Bound for Glory, the leader of Honor No More, Eddie Edwards, he should have had an easier time with Heath, in my opinion. I mean, if Heath wants to take on other members of Honor No More and get near falls on them and get in a lot of offense and great back and forth, that's understandable. That's understandable, but Eddie Edwards going into Bound for Glory, the leader of Honor No More, should have had an easier time with Heath to build him up towards being a really to be a I don't I was gonna say legit challenger for Josh Alexander, but we everyone that knows Eddie Edwards knows that he's a legit challenger. But he shouldn't have had so much trouble with Heath. I mean, if he's going to have trouble with Heath, and he needs actually Mike Bennett to come down and interfere in the match to help him beat Heath, how is that going? How is he going to beat Josh Alexander? That's the way I look at it. So if he can't beat Heath on his own, and Mike Bennett has to come out and interfere and cause a distraction for Eddie Edwards to beat Heath, how is he going to defeat Josh Alexander? How is he going to beat Josh Alexander? Now, that's how I look at it. So it should have been a shorter match. Eddie Edwards should have won this clean without any interference. Then he should have called out Josh Alexander, and then the whole brawl could have erupted. But yeah, that's how I see it. It was a decent match. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a terrific match. It's not a match that I'm gonna want to watch over and over again. But I think Eddie Edwards should have had an easier time with Heath, and he should have won the match without any outside interference from Honor No More, and he should have won in dominating fashion as well. Heath could have gotten some offense, but Eddie Edwards should have won in dominating fashion. But that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. Okay, so that's it. So that's it for Impact Wrestling review for September 8th, 2022. I have an interview up right now with Chantel, indie superstar Chantel. So you might want to check that out. That's up on the channel now. And I'm going to be watching the news today. Anything breaks, I'll be back. But until then, thank you very much for joining me. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye bye.